£2 cash. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, it's 11 o'clock, I'm Ben Leo, and this is Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. A quite frankly extraordinary story on the front page of the Mail on Sunday tomorrow. Top Keir Starmer Mandarin's firm is paid for by spy ops. Could Sir Keir Starmer's advisor, Jonathan Powell, there's the front page, have serious questions to answer? He's been accused of setting up a shadowy operation of spies and spooks working off the books to work with terrorist groups abroad. Big questions to answer from Powell there. Elsewhere, a rather disgraceful front page from The Observer as they investigate the SAS night raids that have taken place over recent years, at a time when the SAS tonight is dealing with the fallout of the Afghan leak. Thousands or potentially hundreds of soldiers' names across special forces in Afghanistan have been leaked. The Observer goes with this one, going after them for doing their jobs abroad. Elsewhere, GB News can exclusively reveal that government insiders are warning that caving into the junior doctor demands would unleash a flurry of further NHS walkouts. We'll be bringing you the latest on that. And sticking with Labour, the Environment Secretary gets tough on the water companies as he pledges to cut sewage pollution in half by 2030. Will this finally fix the state of Britain's waterways? Joining me this evening is the former Labour Special Advisor Paul Richards, former Scotland Yard detective Peter Bleksley, and the comedian and GB News superstar Leo Kearse. Plus my tribute to the thrill seeker and extreme sports pioneer Felix Baumgartner. Yes, welcome to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Let's look at the front pages before we get stuck into the stories, starting with The Independent. The headline reads, "The fear is like hell. We don't deserve this." Special forces whose names and contact details were exposed by the catastrophic MOD email blunder say they're frightened for their lives as they remain stuck in Afghanistan under the Taliban. Let's look at the Mirror. Tell the truth on my son's murder. This is the father of Stephen Lawrence, who was knifed, of course, aged 18 in South London in 1993. One of his killers, David Norris, is due to give evidence at his parole hearing next week. His father is calling... Sorry, Stephen Lawrence's father is calling for Norris to cough up and spill the beans about who else was involved in his death. The Sunday Express, NHS tourists fleecing our hospitals for £200 million. This is an investigation over the past 5 years where £200 million worth of health tourists have fleeced NHS trusts, including one lady called Priscilla from Nigeria who came to London to give birth to her 4 children, costing around £330,000 of your money. The Sun on Sunday, I'm a Celebrity are doing a all-star series which will include the likes of Harry Redknapp and Gemma Collins. And the big question for me is, I wonder if Nigel Farage, who appeared in the jungle in 2023, will he be tempted to go back in, or has he got some bigger challenges on his hands? The Mail on Sunday tomorrow. Top Starmer Mandarin's firm is paid for spy ops. One of Sir Keir Starmer's most powerful advisors was last night accused of running secret diplomatic back channels to terrorists using his own taxpayer-funded team of outsourced spies and spooks. The Sunday Telegraph, the middle class face higher water bills. This is a proposal from Labour, who are reviewing a theory where people in vulnerable groups, those who don't earn much money, maybe on benefits, will have subsidised water tariffs paid for by, yep, you guessed it, the middle class. The Sunday Times, inquiry after SAS identities are leaked online. This is the fallout from the Afghan leaks. Defence Secretary is left furious at the new breach days after Afghan super injunction exposed. Our Special Forces heroes, the men and women in Afghanistan, still there, still working undercover. Their details have been released online. And with that in mind, just bear that in mind for a second, this is the Observer front page. So that's going on. Our brave heroes abroad under threat. The Observer goes with this. The SAS is accused of killing unarmed men and boys on night raids in Afghanistan. This is the story of the silencing operation, deletion of evidence, unheard witnesses, police obstruction, injunction, delay and denials. Cover-up after cover-up. I'll say it again, I said it in the last hour, this front page is an absolute disgrace. Nobody knows what our Special Force heroes go through abroad. Nobody should know. They're called the Special Forces for a reason. And in actual fact, if they go into night raids, risking their own lives night after night, trying to find terrorists and Taliban and jihadis, and they accidentally, in the heat of the moment, pull the trigger on somebody they shouldn't have, I don't really mind so much. I don't mind. They are doing what they need to do and what is absolutely necessary, and the British public, A, I don't think should be told about it, and B, if there are mistakes made, they shouldn't be thrown under the bus like that. Welcome to my panel. Leo Kirst, GB News superstar. You liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's going in the poster.
Former headliner. Peter Blexley still here, former Met Police detective, and, of course, former Labour advisor. Paul Richards is still here as well. Leo, do you want to talk about the Observer quickly?
Yeah.
I think it's a disgrace.
I think it is a disgrace, and it shows like the left want to destroy the country. They want to break down the nation state, break down everything that it is to be British. They want everything broken down, capitalism. They want to, from the rubble of Britain, they want to. And I see Paul is nodding in agreement. They want to. They want to rebuild.
Actually, isn't it?
They want to rebuild a communist utopia. So of course they hate the military. They hate the army. They're, you know, if any mistakes are made, when people are sent overseas to fight in Afghanistan, fight in Iraq, quite often they're young guys, 18, 19. They're in incredibly stressful situations that we'll never have to deal with. And you know, if any mistakes are made, I think, you know, the least we could do is show them a bit of grace instead of picking apart decades later and trying to destroy morale in the military and trying to besmirch the name of the military. I think
perhaps we need to tell the lunatic left that actually the military, they've got the guns and the bullets. Yeah, so you better watch your step.
I'm feeling suddenly quite outnumbered now on this kind of... The only thing I pick up, Leo, on the Special Forces, I mean, they are trained incredibly incredibly highly, and I think, you know, they do these jobs on our behalf. And I was saying earlier, they shouldn't be hauled in front of courts for doing the thing that we tell them to do. But these are not sort of young 18-year-olds just, you know, spraying bullets around. They are incredibly well trained, and they would have gone into those situations with clear rules of engagement, and they would have followed those, I think.
And do you know what? The SAS are the best special forces in the world. People talk about the Navy SEALs and whoever else. The SAS, you ask any military expert or personnel, they are the creme de la creme of special forces. We should not be throwing them under the bus like this.
I'm worried about how long that's going to be the case, because I mean, morale in the military is at rock bottom, not just because of, you know, these sort of after the event court cases picking away at them and trying to hold them to task for anything that happened in the past, as you can see with the, you know, the Bloody Sunday inquiries and you know, these relentless inquiries, but also just the general attitude and chatter of people on the left is tearing down the military, and all the push towards DEI and telling people they can't be patriotic, they can't, you know, Britain doesn't exist. It's just a borderless economic zone that anyone can walk in and out of. How can you have a country? How can you have a military without a border?
Yeah. If there's any consolation, I've never met anybody from the military that reads The Observer.
No, I know a few people in the military, and I won't let you know what they think about the current Labour government. Should we look at the Sun on Sunday? I want to do this. I know, viewers, I know at home you probably don't care about this, but my spin on it is that maybe Nigel Farage will be going back into the jungle. Likely chances, probably close to zero. But this is a Sun on Sunday showbiz exclusive. I'm a Celebrity are doing an all-star episode. Harry Redknapp has been mooted, Gemma Collins as well. You're a big fan of Gemma Collins, I think they are. I've been told. Nigel Farage, do you think he'll go back in if he's asked?
No, I don't think he'd go back in. I think he's past that point. I think it served a great purpose for him when he went in, and it, you know, it opened him up to a new audience who'd perhaps just seen him sneered at in the press. But yeah, there's no point. He needs to focus on actual substantial politics now instead of celebrity stuff. It'd be great to see somebody like Starmer go in, because you know, this is where your charisma can win people over, and I don't think Starmer could really do that.
Farage has actually got a job, let's not forget. He's supposed to be representing the people of Clacton. I know he doesn't know where that is necessarily, but I think yet another bit of moonlighting would not go down well, I don't think.
The really big question that this story throws up is, would Ben Leo do I'm a Celebrity? That's the question.
I think that's what he's angling for, don't you? I think the fact he's bigging this up, I can see this.
Please, I'm desperate for a media career. Please call me. No, no is the answer. I went over to Australia to report on Nigel being in the jungle in December 23. It was fun. I'd never been to Australia before. It was a good time. It wasn't as half bad as I thought, Australia. Actually, it's very good. You know, a really commendable place. Apart from the way they behaved during COVID, but I'll try and forget
Did you eat anything belonging to a kangaroo, or...?
No, only one night after a heavy night out. No, but that was unintentional. No, I'd never do it. Would you, Peter?
No.
Have you been asked before?
No,
you had great success on Hunter, didn't you?
Yeah, don't be dumb. Have you seen the way people, as you pointed out, so desperate for a bit of airtime, humiliate themselves, eating things, throwing up, chucking, drinking vomit and God knows what else? No, I would not.
How would Keir Starmer get on, Paul?
That just sounds like a normal holiday, to be honest.
I can't imagine him doing it. I'm sure he'd do very well if he did, but...
you think he'd do well?
Well, we saw... I mean, politicians don't... Was it Galloway that went and did Big Brother, ended up mewing like a cat and drinking out of a bowl? I mean, George Galloway did not look good in that moment. So I think most politicians avoid it like the plague. Yeah. Quite right.
You saw Keir Starmer recently, didn't you? Is he OK? Is he in fine form?
He gave a speech to a reception the other day, and I was also at Downing Street on Friday with my son, but he seems quite upbeat. I think they're looking forward to their summer holidays, but he has, in his mind, done a lot of things still to do.
So he thinks he's doing all right?
You can tell he don't get out and about then, can't you?
Yeah, I think he just reads The Observer.
He was very proud of his 3 trade deals. That's what he was telling us about. So, you know, the big things, he thinks he's doing well.
Hang on, we had a memorandum of understanding, didn't we? And what was the other one called? Oh,
we've got deals with the EU, the US, and with India. No other government's done that, so, you know, not bad.
Well, we've also got 23,000 strange men coming across the southern border. Don't know who they are. But
how's Smashing the Gang's going? Did you ask him that?
Paul, you mentioned that, of course, politicians are going for summer recess. What will Keir Starmer's schedule be like as the Prime Minister? Will he have a holiday?
Well, he'll have one of those politicians' holidays where he has to go probably somewhere within the UK. He'll be never far from the red box and the security briefings and the cops looking after him. He'll have a photo opportunity on the beach with an ice cream, but no, he won't have a holiday.
Well, unless you're Dominic Raab.
Do you think it'd be Dover, the beach, Dover? Do you think he'll pop down there?
He'll be very welcome in Eastbourne if he wants to come down to Eastbourne.
Yeah, I'm sure he's never been to a seaside town. That's a lie, actually. He came to Worthing some months ago. Should we look at the Mail on Sunday very quickly? This is a very interesting story, Leo, which I'm slightly struggling to get my head around. So the headline reads, Top Starmer Mandarin's firm is paid for spy ops. So one of Keir Starmer's most powerful advisors was last night accused of running secret diplomatic back channels to terrorists using his own taxpayer-funded team of outsourced spies and spooks. So this is Jonathan Powell, the Prime Minister's national security advisor. He founded the shadowy organisation after he left Tony Blair's Downing Street, where he was chief of staff when the infamous dodgy dossier helped to propel Britain into war with Iraq. Anyway, he's back again, so the 68-year-old is still running some sort of weird spook spy operation.
Yeah, and this is the sort of thing, after we've just had this Afghan scandal where, it turns out the government was pranking us by bringing in, 30-odd thousand Afghan migrants completely secretly with super injunctions so nobody could know about it, discuss it, even politicians couldn't discuss it. To find out there's more secret stuff going on, completely subverting democracy, using money that's funneled from other places. Is this happening? Are these spooks just operating in other countries? Are they operating inside the UK? Are they spying on our own people? And we see the government, using organisations like this, NGOs that are supposed to be at arm's length, but then they get money from the government.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if a non-governmental organisation is getting money funneled to it by the government, it's not a non-governmental organisation. They're just trying to distance themselves, but they're getting these organisations to do their dirty work for them.
Yeah, no, good point. And Paul, it says here the outfit that this guy runs, Jonathan Powell.
Intermediate.
It's called Intermediate, and it receives funding from the Foreign Office for making contacts with non-state armed groups. What's a non-state armed group?
Well, Hamas, for example.
Terrorists.
Terrorists.
Right, so we're working with terrorists undercover,
Well, Jonathan Powell is one of the architects of the Northern Ireland peace process, and he was in the heart of Downing Street during all of those big global events. He's a world leader and expert on this. This was a charity he was the CEO of. He's no longer involved in it. He's not the charity CEO anymore. It was when he left government, and now he's come back into government with all that expertise. What Intermediate does or doesn't do, I don't know, and I don't want to, because that is part of
you're paying for them.
That is part of the activity of the state, as we were saying in the first hour, that we just shouldn't know about. If they are trying to...
Well, they're not military.
Can we trust the state? Can we trust the state to do what it... I used to trust the British state. I thought it was run by people like me with the same sort of allegiances, the patriotism as myself, and now I don't believe that anymore.
I think there are things that need to remain secret, and if that includes, ways in which we stop conflict, stop terrorism, do down the bad guys by having to talk to certain people behind the scenes, I think that is legitimate activity for our security services and their proxies.
Peter, do you trust the state?
Anybody who thinks that Tony Blair should have stood trial for war crimes over the illegal invasion of Iraq, and I do, would also think that this Jonathan Powell should have been in the dock next to him, because Jonathan Powell was Blair's chief of staff. His fingerprints were all over that grubby, dodgy dossier, which sent so many British military personnel to their deaths, had a global impact, was an utter nonsense, and 1 million people marched on the street saying, don't do it, and that clown Blair still went and did it. These two, Blair and Powell, should just be fighting over who's on the top bunk.
Well, I can't believe you're in league with the Stop the War coalition and Tony Benn and...
I did not want us to go to war in Iraq at the time.
But are you not glad that Saddam Hussein and his evil sons are no longer in power?
No, absolutely not. Same as I'm not glad that Gaddafi got wiped out either, because actually sometimes those dictatorships are better left off to themselves. They were better run under Saddam, instead of us poking our noses in saying we're going to impose democracy at the end of a barrel of a gun. How nonsense is that? And look at the mess we've created in the Middle East.
Did you say you better off?
Look at the mess.
Yes,
it is exactly what I said.
Best of the devil,
it's exactly what I said. Our people wouldn't have died out there. The Middle East wouldn't be the basket case place that it is now. Sometimes you've just got to leave demagogues to it.
Yeah.
We knew nothing about Iraqi culture. We were manifestly unfit to go in there and try and impose democracy.
And it's from the West,
and Afghanistan and Libya, and the list goes on.
No, you're quite right. And let's continue this discussion after the break. Fleet Street legend David Wooding of the Sunday Express and the Sun will be joining me imminently. I'm going to be asking Paul as well after the break why the invasion of Iraq wasn't illegal, based on the fact that dossier was completely trumped up by, yeah, we all know what happened, don't we? Back in just a tick, David Wooding's here, live on Ben Leo Tonight, late edition.
Five hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very, very easy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GBNews, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
GBNews Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
What stresses you out the most?
Oh, stupid people. Yeah, stupid people. Actually, I'm convinced the world is full of stupid people.
Right, OK.
All right, so stupid people...
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me?
No, I actually wouldn't look at you, mate. You're a smart person. But no, honestly, if you were in my life, particularly when you rely on people to do things for you and they just can't see the obvious thing to do.
Oh, no.
But you have to be very grateful that they are doing things for you.
Yeah, that's...
Ellie, for me, it depends on the mood I'm in. Because if little things happen and I'm not in the right mood, then everything drives me crazy.
Now, that is a very good point. So, micro stresses.
Is that what it is?
But according to the Daily Mail this morning, 89% of Britons are finding the small stresses is exhausting them the most.
Yeah.
Things like being stuck in traffic.
Yes.
Hate that. The bin bag breaking.
I actually don't mind being stuck in traffic.
No, I do. I find it
That's okay.
Great on my soul.
Unless it's late, I'm late for something. Although I was stuck for about 3 hours trying to get home yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
but you see, I don't think those are micro stresses. I think they're major stresses.
Full-on stresses.
That's what the study says,
So listen, don't pass them off as, it's only just stuck in traffic. That's a major thing.
OK,
yeah.
that's major stress. OK.
Yeah.
It says sometimes it triggers the same exhaustion as a single major life event. If you have lots of these in the day. So bin bag breaking is you taking it out, losing your keys.
That's a major one.
Yeah.
That's major for me.
People who walk slowly, that is so irritating. Forgetting to charge your phone overnight, forgetting to put the bins out, not being able to find an outfit.
You know what I really hate? Really, really grinds my gears?
What?
Is when I either let someone out, and when I'm in the car, I let someone out and they don't say thanks, or I stop and let them cross over and they don't go...
That's irritating.
Then I go...
Well, I tend to agree with you, Paul.
GBNews, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. I'm joined now by Fleet Street legend David Wooding, former editor of the Sunday Express and journalist at the Sun as well. David, good evening. Nice to see you. What should we talk about? Do you want to start with the Man on Sunday front page? Have you seen this story?
Yes. It's a strange one, that. We don't know any detail because I've only seen the front page, but it seems that Jonathan Powell's been, if this story is correct, dealing with some shadowy figures in foreign countries.
Yeah, it's bizarre because this guy, Jonathan Powell, I'm not sure how familiar you are with him. He works with Tony Blair, of course, and was involved apparently with the Iraq invasion.
Yes, exactly. And now he's set up this company which deals with non-governmental organisations. So these will be people on the fringe of foreign powers. And one suspects these will be organisations with links to foreign governments. So I don't know. I mean, if we were talking about Russia, let's just say, for argument's sake, you know, the Wagner organisation or people like that, it would be dealing with, which is a real strange thing for Keir Starmer to be getting involved in if this story is correct.
David, I'm going to put you on the spot now, and Paul Richards is here as well, and the rest of the panel. We were just discussing the Iraq War before the break. Peter Bleksley thinks the Iraq invasion was illegal. Paul said it wasn't illegal. What's your take on the whole debacle?
Well, the problem with that, I mean, it's a difficult one to call, and at the time there was a lot of pressure for the British government to be involved. And the truth of the matter was that America was going to go into Iraq anyway. And I think behind the scenes, Tony Blair had been warned, we are going in. You're either with us or you're not with us. And I think that was what swung it. Where it was done, and we can argue about whether it was a legal war or whether it was right or wrong. And, you know, what's happened since has shown that perhaps it might not have been the right thing to do. But Blair had to make this call, and I think he decided he wanted to be shoulder to shoulder with America. Where he went wrong was the dodgy dossier, which his communications department, led by Alistair Campbell, started creating all sorts of spin and over-egged the reasons for going to war. And of course, that all unravelled and went even further than that, because we had the David Kelly incident as a result of that.
Yeah.
So, yes, a bit of a mixed bag, really, and it's difficult to just... It's not quite as simple as saying, yes, it was right, and no, it was wrong. I mean, it was a matter of real politique on the day.
Yeah, talking of Alistair Campbell, you know, maybe some people here are friendly with the guy, but I do not understand why he still has a platform to spout the kind of stuff he does after what happened back in the day. Paul Richards is here to ask you a question, David, if you don't mind.
Hi, David. Nice to see you again. On the story about this charity Intermedia, I mean, what Jonathan Powell will have learned from the Northern Ireland peace process is that you do have to speak to some really unsavoury characters to secure any kind of peace deal. You know, they sent people into the maze, didn't they, to talk to convicted IRA killers, some of the worst people in the world, in order to get the lasting peace we've seen in Northern Ireland. So surely this is just part of that experience that we have to do. We have to talk to people we don't like in order to secure peace.
No, that's a possible good argument for it. Where it's gone wrong here is if somebody clearly doesn't think it's a very good thing to be doing because they've leaked it to the Mail on Sunday. So the problem here is they've not kept this one under wraps, and there's clearly some kind of split at the heart of the government here for this to get out, because obviously somebody's...
I mean, Downing Street, David, are saying that he's no longer the CEO or the leader of this particular charity, and he's got no bearing on his current work with the current Labour Prime Minister. Right, and I'm sure that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I've only seen the front page there, so I've read about 5 sentences of what this story's about. I'll look forward to devouring it in the morning. Have you got the full inside run on this as well?
David, let's look at the front page of The Observer. I think it's an absolute disgrace, this front page, at a time when, as I've said, the Special Forces, our SAS heroes, are under fire in Afghanistan, probably quite literally by now because of this massive data leak. The Observer goes with this, talking about the night raids we've heard about over recent years, going after our brave men and women who are protecting this country, protecting the West and protecting democracy. This is what I think of it. I think it's a joke. I think it's a disgrace. What's your thoughts?
Well, these SAS soldiers are some of the most bravest and intelligent and highly skilled operators, and they're sent into far-flung lands to work on secret operations. These are the real-life Mission Impossible guys. Yeah. They're sent to jobs that nobody else can do, and they're put in such terrible risk to start with, and they have to make instant decisions. Now, it's easy to knock, and we've seen in the past that a lot of these people die in the course of duty, and we don't know who they are unless you're lucky enough to get inside Stirling Lines, the SAS headquarters in Herefordshire, where their numbers are on some memorial, but they die in action frequently, and we never get to hear about it. And so it's very easy for people to start having a go at them. I mean, we've seen it in Northern Ireland where soldiers who served this country, and we're put in terrible situations over there with the IRA at its peak during the Troubles, and now in their retirement, having served this country with great dignity and great service, and putting their lives on the line, are now finding that they may be prosecuted. It's all about activists and activist lawyers who want to have a go at our brave heroes, and yeah, I think it is disgraceful.
Yeah. I'm getting sick of activist lawyers and judges. David, what do you want to get stuck into next? Any preference?
Well, we should talk, having talked about the SAS, about the Sunday Times splash, because again, this just highlights the risk these soldiers are put at. Because this is carrying on for that story that's been running all week about Afghanistan. Not only were the names of the Afghans leaked, but it now seems, according to the Sunday Times, that the names of about 20 SAS soldiers, many of whom are actually still in Afghanistan on active service, obviously undercover, they've been leaked. Now, the crux of this leak is that it says in the document, it gives all their names, their actual names, and it gives in the document, it says MAB, M-A-B, which stands for M-O-D something B, MOD account B or something, which if you Google that, MAB, it will come up and tell you what it is. It's the SAS. So these guys have now been put in extra harm's way, and I hope enough action is being taken to get them back to Britain. It wouldn't surprise me if they were repatriating the Afghans quicker than they repatriate our own SAS heroes.
Oh, David, you know it sounds like such a joke and such a farce that it's probably true. If you're going to put money on it, you can almost guarantee that's true. Just very quickly, down the bottom, I'm not sure if you've seen this, David, down the bottom on the Times, Ryanair staff bag oversized bonus. So Ryanair is paying bonuses to staff who catch any of their 200 million passengers a year who try to travel with oversized baggage.
Well, yeah, this has become a problem. When we were on holiday recently, we found that more and more people are now, because you get charged for putting your baggage in the hold, and we were old-fashioned, we had 2 full-size suitcases put in the hold, but people are now taking small baggages and they're cramming all their stuff into them. Then they've got their additional hand baggage where they've rolled up more clothes, and they're wearing about 5 layers to try and get on the plane and dodge the fares. So they're now actually charging people to put something in the overhead locker inside the cabin. But of course, this means hardly anybody's putting anything in the hold anymore. So it's become a real issue. I think we should just go back to the old-fashioned style of doing it and saying you've got a baggage for the hold, you've got a small bag you can bring on with you. I couldn't get my tiny little bag in the overhead locker when I went because it was full of people's suitcases. So this is a real problem. And I'm not surprised they're cracking down on it, but my suggestion to them would be, let's go back to the old style. Let's make your ticket cover everything and stop trying to make it sound as though your seats are really cheap, when in fact they're not, when you add on all the essential things you have to take with you.
Yeah, no, it does my head in. You try, I mean, not just Ryanair, just, whatever, hotels, car hire, it says, would you like to pay an extra £5 to breathe oxygen? Oh, yes, please, that would be great. Would you like to pay £5 to be able to blink? Yes, please, Paul.
Well, what gets me is that surely the plane weighs the same, no matter where the stuff is, whether you're wearing it or whether it's in a suitcase in the hold, so what's their problem?
Yeah, Leo, any thoughts on this?
No, I've got no clue about Ryanair. I only know that they charge everything, even like to sit next to each other. To sit next to each other, you've got to pay £4 extra each. And it's like I'm Scottish, you're not getting that money from me. This is going to be the easiest £4 I ever earned. You think I can't sit next to my family for an hour?
EasyJet tried to charge me for extra baggage. I said, but look, the wife's lost weight since she's been on a Ozempic.
David, thanks very much for your company tonight. Really appreciate it, as ever. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch up next week, hopefully. Yes. Leo, would you take 20 quid off your airfare if it meant sitting next to a raging commie for 7 hours?
Well, given that most of the flights I get cost less than 20 quid, I'd be getting paid to fly.
Where do you fly to?
So I always fly Ryanair or EasyJet because they're so cheap. Actually, I'm doing a long flight in a couple of months. I'm going to Australia for a weekend.
Are you coming back?
Yeah.
For a weekend?
Yeah, for CPAC. So I did it last year, and it's a long way to go for a weekend.
Mate, you're mad.
Wow.
Right, coming up on Ben Leo tonight, late edition, a breaking story in, I think it's the Sunday Times or the Telegraph, I'll confirm imminently. JD Vance and his family, the US Vice President, they're heading to it's in the Telegraph, they're heading to the UK for a summer holiday. Not official business, they're just coming with their sprogs for a nice time in the UK. Can you guess where he's going? Where's the Vice President of the US going to be spending his time on his hollybobs? Answers on a postcard. I'll ask my panel when we get back as well. This is Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Back in just a sec.
Good evening, welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. So heavy, thundery showers are on the cards for many of us over the next couple of days, but it will be feeling a little bit fresher, perhaps a little less humid than we've seen recently. Low pressure is very much in charge of our weather though, situated out towards the southwest of the UK, various weather fronts spiralling around it, pushing bands of rain and showers further north. The first one being this one across parts of Wales and southwest England, bringing some heavy and perhaps thundery outbreaks of rain, spreading northwards into the early hours of Sunday morning. Parts of Scotland will also continue to see some outbreaks of rain, and it will be generally quite a cloudy night and quite a mild night too, perhaps not quite as mild as Friday night, but temperatures staying well into the double figures for most of us. So quite a cloudy and mild start to the day on Sunday, quite a damp start too, particularly across parts of southwest England, southern parts of Wales, even southern parts of England, southeast seeing some heavy showers too. Perhaps a little bit brighter across parts of Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. However, for eastern Scotland, we will continue to see some heavy outbreaks of rain, maybe even the odd rumble of thunder too on Sunday morning. As we then head towards the afternoon, we continue to see showers spiralling around that area of low pressure down towards the southwest of the UK. These pushing their way northwards through the afternoon. However, we will start to see a bit of brightness, perhaps some sunny spells developing between those showers, but almost anywhere seeing a heavy and thundery downpour through the afternoon. Feeling warm where you do catch the sunshine though, temperatures 24, 25, potentially 26 degrees, and even in the north reaching into the low 20s. Looking at the start of the new week though, and it's a pretty similar picture. Some heavy showers to start across the southeast of England, across parts of Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland seeing some prolonged rainfall, and again, almost anywhere seeing a heavy and thundery shower. And the outlook picture is pretty similar too. Further showers and thunderstorms on the cards, but it will feel pleasant and pleasantly warm where you do catch the sunshine.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Breaking news in the past hour or so in tomorrow's Telegraph. Vice President of the US, JD Vance, and his young family are coming to the UK on holiday. Here we go. Oh, no, I was going to ask the panel where they think they're going, but it says it in the headline. Vance heads for family holiday in the Cotswolds. Oh. Beautiful part of the world, and indeed England. Leo, did that surprise you?
Yeah, I've been to the Cotswolds, and yeah, if I was as rich as JD Vance, I'd go there for all my holidays.
Yeah. Whereabouts in the Cotswolds?
It was somewhere near Bibury.
Oh, Banbury.
Bibury. No, Bibury. Bibury. There's a place called Bibury or Bibury. But everywhere you go in the Cotswolds is beautiful. It's just jam-packed with tourists, so you can't really see it. You're just looking at it through a throng of Japanese...
It's one of the more untouched parts of the UK, so I don't think there's any migrant hotels there, but do you think they'll soon be on their doorstep?
Well, they've got a lot of just actual hotels. So they're migrants, but they only come for a week.
Lots of stately homes. I wonder what the good people of the Cotswolds will think if a migrant hotel pops up. Peter, did you expect it to be the Cotswolds for JD Vance, not Skeggy or...
I was hoping that he'd take his family to the Bell Hotel in Epping. That's what I was really hoping for, right? But, of course, he's gone to the Cotswolds. My dear mum, who's still with us, she's 96.
Sheila?
She was... No, Pauline.
Sorry.
She was
I always get that wrong.
She was evacuated to the Cotswolds during the war.
Oh, really?
So, of course, we've made many, many trips down there. We used to holiday there when we were kids and all of that. Lovely part of the
How is
world.
your dear mum? Is she OK?
Yeah, she's wonderful, thank you.
Send her my regards.
Thank you, I will.
Apologies for always getting her name wrong.
That's all right.
Paul?
I remember when Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, believe it or not, came to Blackpool when Clinton was talking at the Labour Party conference. They turned up at the McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. And the people behind the counter couldn't quite believe what was going on. But Bill Clinton was there having
Bill Clinton went to Blackpool?
He did.
Did he go up the tower?
I don't know who went up the tower. He certainly went to the Winter Gardens and maybe the Wetherspoons too. I don't know. But JD Vance... Possibly. JD Vance, I think, should have gone to a Sussex seaside town.
He should have come to Worthing. He could have stayed in my house. I would have definitely put him up. But he's coming with his young family, Usha, his wife, and their 3 young children. They're expected to rent a cottage in the Cotswolds, and then they're going to move on to Scotland. So it's purely a family leisure trip. There's nothing to do with business or politics.
The Trump golf course, presumably.
Probably. I suspect so. And of course, Donald Trump's coming to the UK next week. He's going to his 2 golf courses in Aberdeen and Turnberry. Right, here's another cracking story for you. I was about to say any OnlyFans fans here, but I don't answer that. 2 asylum seekers were caught making an OnlyFans adult website sex film in their taxpayer-funded hotel. So this was a Syrian man who was found romping with a woman, migrant, on camera during a room inspection by astonished staff. A former manager said the guy had a whole setup, a camera on a tripod at the end of the bed, sex toys everywhere. It was pretty obvious what was happening. The couple were running an illegal porn business from the hotel. The man was naked with just a towel around him when he answered the door. She was wearing sexy lingerie, lying on the bed, and this is in The Sun on Sunday tomorrow, with the headline, "Taken for a Ride, Leo."
Well, it's just nice to see that no British children were involved this time. That's reassuring. But this shows that the people gaming the asylum system to come here, you know, they're not always the neediest. In fact, the ones who make it all the way to Britain are usually the ones who are actually, you know, wealthiest or know how to work the system the best. So, you know, they've come here. They've obviously come to Britain because they know we've got fantastic Wi-Fi. And now they're making their OnlyFans. So many people are on OnlyFans now. I'm actually setting up a service called OnlyFathers for these OnlyFans girls, where they can pay me like £3.99 a month, and I'll appear on Zoom and tell them I'm proud of their life choices.
OnlyFathers. I'd subscribe to that, probably. I might make a pretty penny or 2. Peter, what's your thoughts on this? I mean, it's a bit of a joke.
Oh, I think it's a wonderful migration story. They're contributing to the economy. I mean, you know, just add it to Deliveroo and Uber Eats and all the other job opportunities that these people... Honestly, really, we are being taken for a ride.
It puts Smash the Gangs in a whole new... smashing something.
Something going smashing. I mean, it reminds me of the old News of the World stories. It's a classic Sunday, you know, News of the Screws type story. It's The Sun. Is it The Sun on Sunday?
Sun on Sunday, yeah.
I miss the News of the World, but there we are. They filled the gap.
Indeed.
So did they.
Right, let's stick with the asylum situation. Communities apparently are not being informed about migrant hotels in their areas because it would undermine the privacy of new arrivals, it's emerged. This is in the Sunday Telegraph tomorrow. Asylum seekers are being housed in hotels all across the UK, often without residents being informed. I'd argue always without residents being informed. This has raised safety concerns among residents and councils. The policy's been revealed days after anti-migrant protesters clashed with police outside a hotel believed to be housing asylum seekers in Essex. They're not just, again, I'd say they're not just anti-migrant, they're anti-children being abused. But, yeah, thoughts on this? I don't know of any migrant hotel where locals have been informed.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So we're protecting the privacy of people who've decided to illegally enter the UK. So they've made that choice to come into the UK, and for some reason their privacy must take absolute paramount. We've got to look after that. Never mind 12-year-old girls trying to walk to school who, you know, at least if their parents knew that there's a migrant hotel 500 yards away, like the one in Epping is so close to a co-ed school. If the parents knew, they could at least, you know, take them in the car so they're not going to be walking along and getting harassed by these guys. I think it's absolutely shocking.
Paul? Oh, sorry, Peter.
Sorry, no. Yeah, after you, Paul.
Ladies first. Who's the lady?
That's a poison chalice, isn't it? I mean, first, the serious point is that the Labour government is trying to close down these hotels because they are flashpoints and they are dangerous and all the rest of it. But the reason these have been kept secret is because there are people who want to burn them down, and I think that's an entirely reasonable thing to avoid.
No, who wants to burn them down?
Well, the people that gather outside trying to burn them down.
Like who?
But this, I mean, the Epping Hotel, we heard this rhetoric. We heard, you know, they had organised counter-protesters, left-wing counter-protesters, bust in to stand up for paedophile rights for some reason. And we were told, oh, these protesters, they're evil, they want to burn down the hotel. No, they were just concerned local residents. There was perfectly well-dressed middle-class mums. You know, these were just normal people who were concerned about their children.
Yeah, there's a foolproof way of knowing if you've got a migrant hotel in your community. Go and sit in a magistrate's court.
Yeah. OK, yeah, The Sun did that story yesterday. 1 in every 100 asylum hotel migrants have been in court in the last year, I think the figure was. And I argued at the top of the show, by definition, all asylum hotel migrants are criminals. They're here illegally. They're illegal migrants, so that's against the law. Inside the Times tomorrow, the King's demands, staff shortages and low pay led to a gardener exodus at Highgrove, apparently. Oh, poor King Charles. He's lost 11 of his 12 garden staff since 2022, including 2 head gardeners who quit within a year, and the Ukraine invasion. King has proposed plugging staff shortages with war refugees or the elderly. Leo, how many gardeners have you got?
I don't have any gardeners, but I don't have any garden. I've got like one little pot of basil that I got from Tesco in 2023. No, I mean, I think King Charles, can't he like talk to the plants himself? Can't he make them grow himself? Little green-fingered, sausage-fingered king.
Yeah.
OK, on that bombshell, right, coming up, President Trump is suing Rupert Murdoch for £10 billion. Trump's suing Murdoch for £10 billion, $1 billion really, actually, which is about £8 billion off the top of my head. We'll be discussing that next. This is Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Back in a sec.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews travel destinations forecast.
It's a bit of a mixed picture across Europe over the next couple of days, with plenty of showers around across parts of France, even northern parts of Italy too. Maybe even Madeira and the Canary Islands catching 1 or 2 isolated showers. But for parts of Spain, Portugal, Italy, even parts of Greece, there's plenty of sunshine on offer. And the southern Mediterranean is seeing plenty of that sunshine, though perhaps a little breezy. Temperatures generally in the low to mid-30s and similar through the outlook as well. Plenty of sunshine on the cards and feeling very warm.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews travel destinations forecast.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there short and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. It's the battle of the billionaires. Donald Trump, he's suing Rupert Murdoch for a pretty paltry $10 billion, £8 billion rather. That's after the Murdoch-owned Wall Street Journal published a story alleging President Trump wrote a rather affectionate letter to convicted paedophile, he's now dead of course, Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I'm joined by political analyst Sarah Firth down the line from the United States. Sarah, extraordinary story. JD Vance, President Trump says this is just completely concocted, made-up BS. Who's telling the truth?
Well, look, President Trump and his team have really come out on the offensive here, Ben. As you said, the battle of the billionaires. President Trump filing that libel lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch and a number of others who worked on the story, and echoing what we heard the Vice President JD Vance saying, that this is fake, it's concocted. President Trump has said he doesn't write like that, he doesn't draw pictures. So there is a lot of questions over this letter, and a lot of attention has been focused on the fact that we haven't seen the letter in its entirety. Now, this has all been sparked by this latest episode in this ongoing saga around Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump and his supporters, the sort of Make America Great Again crowd, the MAGA crowd, for many, many years, they've been really focused, really pushing for answers around the allegations that there are a number of wealthy elites that were on this client list. Now, the Department of Justice, just about a week ago, they released a memo saying that there is no evidence of a client list. And so then what you saw was this backlash from the conservative MAGA crowd themselves. So in the wake of that, President Trump has said, look, I've directed the Attorney General, we're going to try and unseal the court testimony from the grand jury trial around Jeffrey Epstein to get more transparency. Then you had this Wall Street Journal letter published. But as I said, President Trump and his team, they've gone on the offensive here and clearly very seriously hitting back against the allegations from the Wall Street Journal.
Sarah, I don't quite get it, because Pam Bondi, the US Attorney General, in, when was it, February, can't remember, earlier this year, she did a big fanfare saying, look, we've got all the documents, and we had influencers on the steps of the White House saying they've got the client list. She said, the client list is on my desk at the Department of Justice. It's going to be released imminently. Then it went quiet, and everybody was kind of saying, oh, well, where's the list, guys? What's going on? And now Donald Trump comes out and says, oh, the list is made up by the Democrats. It's just some nonsensical, imagination. Who's telling the truth? I can see why Trump's MAGA base is pretty miffed with this.
Yeah, and you're right, Ben. I mean, I know a lot of you've got a group within the MAGA base called the Front Row Joes. They're the guys that travel to all of President Trump's rallies. And so before he was elected for his second term, this is something that President Trump was promising to them, right? He was saying, Jeffrey Epstein files, we're going to open them up. We're going to hand them over. You're going to have that transparency. Exactly like you said, you saw those conservative media and bloggers go into the White House, the Attorney General presenting them with those folders, those Epstein files, phase one. Getting a look at what was actually in those files, so the phase one, there wasn't really any new information, Ben. And so everyone was waiting to see what would then come out. Really unfortunate wording from Attorney General Pam Bondi. She'd said, as you mentioned, that the list was on her desk waiting for review. She's backtracked on that now, saying that her language has been misinterpreted a bit. She's now filed that motion for the court to unseal the grand jury testimony. But Ben, it's really rare for that grand jury testimony to be unsealed. Judges usually want to maintain that secrecy by design so that witnesses and victims don't feel nervous in the future coming forward. So even if, and there's a big question whether the court judge will allow those to be unsealed, even if they are, a lot of the MAGA crowd that I'm speaking to is saying, well, is that going to give us the answers that we're looking for? Will there be more questions than answers than this? And this story then really just keeps gaining momentum. You've seen the Trump team try and get control of the narrative, a huge amount of criticism aimed at Pam Bondi and what she's been doing. So, yeah, we'll wait and see, but the story rumbling on.
Sarah, yes or no? There was a column piece in The Guardian saying this will be the end of Trump's presidency. Is that the truth?
I would find that very unlikely, Ben. Listen, President Trump has weathered many, many storms. This is the latest in a long line of them, and he's coming out swinging.
OK, Sarah Furr, thank you very much. Appreciate your company. Political analyst in the US. We'll catch up soon. Leo, your thoughts on this whole Epstein-Trump saga?
Oh, man, this is really... It's cratered support in Trump's base. I mean, his whole thing was, I've got the files, I'm going to vote for me, I'm going to release the files. Where are they? They came out holding binders. They said, oh, we've got the files right here. And then they're like, we've got them on our desk. So where are they? You can't magically... What sort of gaslighting is this? Also, I really want to read them.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, I was about to say, let's speculate who's on the list. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I've got a mortgage to pay.
We can guess one person who's on the list.
Who? Oh, no, don't say. Just stop basing me. Paul, your thoughts on this?
Well, Rupert Murdoch versus Donald Trump is something I would definitely buy tickets for. But it reminds me a little bit of Iran versus Iraq war. You know, I want them both to lose.
Yeah. Peter, your thoughts?
There will be only one kind of guaranteed outcome from this, and that is that the lawyers will make lots of money.
OK, great. Let's have one more whiz through of the Sunday papers. Let's start with The Independent. The Independent headline is about the Afghan heroes. The fear is like hell. We don't deserve this. The Sunday Mirror. Tell the truth on my son's murder. That's Stephen Lawrence's father. David Norris up for parole evidence next week. The Express. NHS tourists fleecing our hospitals for £200 million a year. The Sun on Sunday. Get me back on there. I'm a Celebrity is doing an all-star version. Will Nigel Farage be there? I doubt it. The Mail on Sunday. Top Starmer Mandarin's firm is paid for spy ops. The Sunday Telegraph. Middle class face higher water bills. This is a proposal that vulnerable groups will be on social water tariffs paid for by the middle class. The Times. Inquiry after SAS identities leaked online. And The Observer. What a disgrace. Cover-up after cover-up, talking about our poor SAS heroes abroad. That's all we have time for. Thank you for your company tonight for the last 3 hours. Thank you to Peter, Paul and Leo. And thank you at home. I'll be back tomorrow from 9. Sweet dreams. See you tomorrow.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. So heavy, thundery showers are on the cards for many of us over the next couple of days, but it will be feeling a little bit fresher, perhaps a little less humid than we've seen recently. Low pressure is very much in charge of our weather, though, situated out towards the southwest of the UK. Various weather fronts spiralling around it, pushing bands of rain and showers further north. The first one being this one across parts of Wales and southwest England, bringing some heavy and perhaps thundery outbreaks of rain, spreading northwards into the early hours of Sunday morning. Parts of Scotland will also continue to see some outbreaks of rain, and it will be generally quite a cloudy night and quite a mild night too. Perhaps not quite as mild as Friday night, but temperatures staying well into the double figures for most of us. So quite a cloudy and mild start to the day on Sunday. Quite a damp start too, particularly across parts of southwest England, southern parts of Wales, even southern parts of England, southeast seeing some heavy showers too. Perhaps a little bit brighter across parts of Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. However, for eastern Scotland, we will continue to see some heavy outbreaks of rain, maybe even the odd rumble of thunder too on Sunday morning. As we then head towards the afternoon, we continue to see showers spiralling around that area of low pressure down towards the southwest of the UK. These pushing their way northwards through the afternoon. However, we will start to see a bit of brightness, perhaps some sunny spells developing between those showers, but almost anywhere seeing a heavy and thundery downpour through the afternoon. Feeling warm where you do catch the sunshine though, temperatures 24, 25, potentially 26 degrees, and even in the north reaching into the low 20s. Looking at the start of the new week though, and it's a pretty similar picture. Some heavy showers to start across the southeast of England, across parts of Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland seeing some prolonged rainfall, and again, almost anywhere seeing a heavy and thundery shower. And the outlook picture is pretty similar too. Further showers and thunderstorms on the cards, but it will feel pleasant and pleasantly warm where you do catch the sunshine.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Imagine having an extra £1,000 to spend each week for an entire year. £54,321 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to spend however you like. £54,321 in cash could be landing in your bank account this year. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political